landing in the helicopter. Oh, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Maybe I'll just back up. Back over the plane. That's slick. Tell you the brother. Oh, hey, Instagram, it's me, T from the Pattersons, taking the train to the bed. Well, I notice certain things in the morning, right? This is a grand rising, by the way. When I say the morning, I mean, I'm using your language because, we don't be morning. This is a grand rising. In fact, this is a grand rising report. And we're in blue light. So let me talk to the blue light people just for a second. Blue lights, look, okay. Look, I got certain symbols. Like, for instance, I'm wearing my Ogun cap this morning. I don't know why, just because it goes with the black, right? But you see, this is a what you would call a vest now, a jacket. It was a long sleeve jacket. I cut it off myself, and then I had my wife do this embroidery kind of thing on it. These are private symbols. These symbols are my personal troops. I can't explain that to you right now because, well, Blue Light Brigade. I explain things to you, but at another time, right? It's different than. Let me put it this way. Here's another instruction. I'm giving Blue Light Brigade instructions, right? Because we're in another phase right now. We're in it's a different phase. Now, you have to find your own symbol. Like, for instance, I've adopted a West African symbol. Like, you see it all the time. Well, maybe you don't see it all the time. There it is. That's a West African symbol. You can't. It's backwards for you. Don't worry about it. Just deal with the symbol. Don't deal with the wording, right? Well, it means it's a wisdom knot. Don't worry about that part, right? So this is my symbol. So it's from West Africa. It's from the Akan people. It don't matter what people. It's from West Africa. It's from Africa. Let's put it that way. I adopted that a few years ago. Why? Because it speaks to me. It came to me. You see, things come to you as you grow on in life. It comes to you, right? And so, well, that's what happened to me. It came to me. So that's my personal symbol that I put on certain garments, on the back or front certain garments that I have. I have a thing, and when I get to Virginia, I'll do some more garments. Not a lot, just some garments. Just some of them. Okay, but forget that part right now. You know what I realized? See, I was up. I actually slept all the way through to 4 o'clock, which is kind of. So I was up. I'm up, and I light my blue candle. Why? Because you got the blue candle. That's my inspiration. When I wake up in the morning, I be doing stuff, writing and stuff like that. So anyway, and I got some stuff done. I started another Quinzaba, which don't worry about that part. That won't be done until I'll take a couple of days on that. Maybe actually they're coming quicker and quicker. I then the other Quinzaba that I did earlier. I had finished it already, but where's the thing on it? Where's the just a second. Where's the it must be under there. I want to go under here, man. I must have put it down someplace. Anyway, the brown, I always write on the brown paper first. It comes from the incense thing. I write on brown paper first. That's the rough draft. I make all the corrections there. Then I go and I do it in the phone. I get some spell corrections, just other corrections. It's like another draft. And then I put it in the book, right? Like that. This is the one I worked on. I've just finished. I put it in just final phase. It started earlier in the week. And then as I'm transferring it, to that, I look at and I keep on making corrections till I finally get. Let me show you. I'm just going to show it to you. I'm not going to do anything. I post it later on in the week, like maybe Thursday or something. I don't know. I'll post it up and I'll read it. The first reading of it. And always, let me show it to you. I'm just going to let you peek at it, right? There it is. This was called Our One's Africa. Our One's Africa. For Unity. Anyway, that's what it is. That's the next one, right? And then I use the thingy there, and I use the color pens and make it. Of course, I'm creative, Let me tell you something. Then, since I was working, since the creative stuff come up, I said, now why am I doing this? And plus, here's the big problem. When I started writing poetry in 1971, officially, whatever, I started writing poetry. I realized something. I'm like a prolific poet. I like Steve said about my posting on Instagram. He said, "Oh, you're a turbo poster." I said, "Oh gosh, no, I'm not turbo, whatever." And I realized, but the thing is, it's not that I get obsessed, but I get into this thing and I get, oh, this is interesting. I go, dee, 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 dee. When I was writing poetry before, I just write and write and write. Now, you have to remember, you might write 100 poems. Out of the 100 poems, maybe 2 would be actually worthy or something like that. Give you an example. When I was taking extension course, when I was in the Air Force, it's a long story, but in the Air Force, this is like 1973, 74. I was taking an extension course from Trenton State College, right? And that's when I got into philosophy and stuff like that. But I had a creative writing class, right? Okay, one of my favorite, cats of all time, William Craycraft. Last name was Craycraft. I call him CC. Hey, he had to accept it. Why? Because it's me, and he liked it actually. Anyway, so CC, he actually worked for the educational testing service early on. He came claim and said that stuff is bogus, right? So I knew for a long time, the whole testing thing for a long time. Just in the 70s, I found that stuff. And that's not the point. So we write different creative projects. And one time I came in, I had written 7, 8, maybe it was 9 poems. Then you presented in class. I presented one, and they gave thumbs down. The next one, thumbs down. The next one, thumbs down. It's for whatever. How many poems I wrote? They were all like, nah. The class was voting on this. Nah, no. Now here's the thing. Do I get discouraged? No. There are no mistakes. Only way that. So I said, oh, you're gonna play that, right? I think the class came on a Tuesday. And I had off. That was in I would say my famous. I'm famously known at the Air Force Base because I work nights, right? And so I had off I only worked 4 nights a week, like Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and Thursday nights. Yeah. So I had off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on to Monday. So I went to New York, right? And I just walked around. Started walking. I was walking around Harlem. Maybe 135th Street, somewhere up there, Drugs were all over Harlem at that particular point. This is right before crack. Right before. I think PCP was sort of was the thing at the time, but marijuana was there. So I'm walking. I'm just walking, just taking in the thing, And I heard somebody say, "Give me a sky," but just mumbling something. Then I realized that was like a code for I got the goods, right? I said, So somewhere in there, I started to write. That just sparked me. I started to write. I wrote what's called an epic poem. An epic poem is a very long poem, and usually you can tell because, in classic literature, what you do is every line you sort of give a number to every line. So you say the poem was this was long. Say the poem was 600 lines, so you'd be, you every line you put a poem, okay, like Gonzalo's a 7-line poem, so there I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Now, I should make a super quick, no, I wouldn't, don't make that, you can't do that, Gonzalo's 7 lines, right? So, you can say line, 564, people say, okay, turn your book line 564. This is what word for whoever was trying to say at the time. That kind of thing. See? So I wrote this epic poem. This was called The Interrogation of Haven. I put that to class. And that next week, because like I said, I'm prolific, man. Whenever I got that on Saturday or Sunday, I started writing. Man, I came to class, laid it on them, right? It must not, I don't know how many long. It must have been that. No, it was long. It was at least 300 lines. It was long. I'm going to say it was long. Read that poem. Everybody. And CC said, you may have written the epic poem of the, that period like that, as far as black goes. And Here's what I'm going to get to the point now. Blue Light Brigade, you know, when we talk like this. This is a Grand Rising report. I have to tell you what's been happening, especially in this creative speech right here. So that was in like '73 or something like that. And then when I graduated, when did I graduate? 76, 75. Whenever I graduated undergraduate school, I think it's 1976, 75, somewhere around there. I graduated, I got in 74, 76, I graduated undergraduate school. And then there was, 76, I think it was. So like I had this period where I didn't know, I didn't know what I was doing, but I just, I didn't go back to, I should have went back to New York and, go back to theater. But my spirit wasn't, oh no, I know what happened. I bought a house. And let me put it this way. I lived with a bunch of women. I bought this house, and we all did. Okay, so I was occupied with that, and I did this whole job. This was a phase I was doing. I was working out. I was writing. I was still writing poetry, and I was heavy into Henry Dumas. I mean, heavy. I was doing a lot of reading, and for some reason, I turned that. Oh, I wrote a play. Crystal Burns wrote this play, at that time period I wrote the play. And then, since I wrote that, I took The Interrogation of Haven and I turned that poem, that epic poem, into a play called Haven, right? And on the strength of those two plays, just the only two plays I had, right? I submitted to at the time it was called the Graduate School of Performing Arts or something like that. They changed it to something else. It was right across from the Douglas campus. This is New Brunswick. This is right across from the Douglas campus. It's 11th Theater now. It's called 11th Theater. Maybe they named it the Jack Bettenbender Theater because he was the head of the theater department at the time. Anyway, the point. He was a mentor to Avery Brooks and stuff like that. Avery was teaching at the time. That's not the point. Forget that part. So on the strength of those two plays, they accepted me into the master's program of playwriting. Who would have thought, right? And here it is. I had already, ghetto kid, So on the strength of those two plays, I got into graduate school. Now here's the thing. Okay. I don't consider myself a poet as much as I consider myself a wordsmith. This is why I can write plays, right? And I love writing plays. Oh, I love writing, but plays are the bee's knees, you know what I mean? Especially the objective point of view, no narration. Oh, I love it. That's why I do audio drama. That's not the point. So I'm realizing, what's your strength? They gotta say, what is your strength? Like, what's your strength? My strength is not actually poetry. I'm a wordsmith, like I said. My strength is when I was writing a lot of, then when I got to graduate school, I went but nuts on plays. But what happens when I conquer a genre? Let's put it that way. I get bored. But then I realize something. My strength in being a wordsmith, poet, whatever it is, and prolific, my strength, there's all kinds of gradations of writing, right? I'm a great adapter. You know how to get the film awards, a screenplay adapted by something? I'm that guy. I'm an adapter, right? It's like in film they have the thing, or in theater, you have it's called a theater doctor, script doctor. When you come and you have a play and you try to help the playwright, I fulfill that thing when I'm directing or I'm stage managing. I always help the writer, director, whatever, to the next thing. That's my story, underlying strength. It's that whole thing, I'm the guy behind the throne, the power behind the throne. That's not the point. So I realized that, hey, when I do all this stuff, like I'm right now, I'm doing a lot of conservatives. I don't really want. I want to do is limit to once a week, but then I'm going like, oh, I know what's happening. These things are going to turn into a play. I'm certain of it. These things, they're going to, because now I see some themes that's running through. So I just thought I'd tell you that this morning because this is a Grand Rising report, and I just reported, and it's hey, I think it's almost time. I think in about 2 more minutes it's going to be Boom, boom. Oh, one more thing. You know what I realized this morning? Because I was working, I was writing, I was enjoying myself, doing be creative. At about 5 o'clock every morning, that's when the Muslims have their prayer thing. They call a prayer. Now, here's the thing that I really don't like about that. When I was in the car Senegal, well, I was invited back. I came back and I stayed with this family, right? And they insisted, right? And I was in Chiroy. Chiroy is like I don't say a suburb. It's like the Bronx of Dakar. Let's put it like that. And I was right, and I was in a room, right? There it is. Sunrise. Oh, bathe. Let us all breathe through the nose. It's a grand rising. You've just experienced grand rising. It's a wonderful thing to be up at this particular point. Well, wherever you are in the world. But let me get back to the point. So I was there. So at 5 o'clock every morning, I'm up anyway. I hear this loud, because I was right next to the mosque where they call a prayer, and the loudspeaker. I'm sorry, I'm not mocking. I don't want the Muslims to come after me. I don't want Islam to speak, I don't want nothing to happen, right? So then I said, wait a second. When they started call a prayer, I'm certain those many centuries, they did not have no loudspeakers. So in your call of prayer, aren't you supposed, especially if you call into, your deity, whatever you call into, you're not supposed to use no amplification. You're supposed to use your voice. That's your call of prayer. I guess people walking around the street and calling the prayer. You don't use no loudspeaker. Oh, my brother, no. But the Christians, they got the bells. Well, they had the bells then when they started the darn thing, right? But we're evolving. Oh, you're evolving. Oh, then how come you still got some draconian? Okay, I'm not going to get into that, right? So at 5 o'clock, wherever you are in the world, but that's artificial too, because what I realized, you hear the birds right now? When blue light first starts, like a half hour before sunrise, that's when the birds start going. That's what I say, oh, this is the birds. The birds, but they didn't invent no loud. They still doing the same thing they normally do, right? And then about 6 o'clock, we have, it's not the Hindus, somebody else does something on their loudspeaker. So what's all this? No. If you're going to be authentic, if you're going to be, fundamental, right? No loudspeaker, no modern conveniences. If you're going to do that, then how come you still wearing this, or you still doing that, or you still doing this? No, you got to be authentic if that's what you're going to be. The only evolution you're supposed to do, if you're whatever was walking on water, you should be able to walk on the water by now if you want to evolve. You say, okay, let me not get off. I'm getting off on that. Let me stop there. Grand Rising is happening. Let me enjoy. I got stuff to do today. Talk to you all later. Bye.